So we loved her in the 80s with Scarlet Fantastic and Swan's Way. We loved her in the 90s when that re-emerged with another remix and the Balearic success. And now back, not just with Maggie and Martin, but Scarlet Fantastic. It's Maggie K. de Monde.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, Phil. I'm good, actually. I'm really good. It's a little bit sweaty in here today.
It is quite warm, isn't it? Summer is here.
Yeah, we like it. We're not complaining.
It's kind of muggy and overcast.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's great to see you.
Oh, it's lovely to see you too.
And very exciting news about the new album, which comes out in just a couple of weeks.
Absolutely, yeah.
How does it feel to have a new album coming out? Is it always quite an exciting thing?
It's always really exciting. It's a little bit nerve-wracking as well, but very exciting, yeah. And this is a project that I've been working on for a little while, so to actually have it out, for it to come to fruition, it feels pretty good.
And I've been listening to it for the last week, and it's quite a change in direction, isn't it?
Certainly is. It certainly is. Yes, I mean, interestingly, I think it was 30 years ago, or maybe a little bit more, that I formed Scarlet Fantastic after the demise of Swan's Way. And it was interesting for me to note with these new songs that I was revisiting some similar themes to the ones that I had visited 30 years ago, except, now with 30 years life experience under my belt. So I just thought, well, maybe it's time to make a new Scarlet Fantastic record. But obviously, yes, stylistically it's different, but I'm different too. It's
great. I love it.
Oh,
and
thank you.
I love the change in direction as well, because I think you evolve as an artist, don't you? I think, especially being in the music industry for 30 years as well.
Yeah, well, probably longer, actually.
You've got the experience.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I just wouldn't see the point of regurgitating a sort of 80s sounding album, and I did what really felt right for me at the time. And I always kind of work like that. I just do really what's in my heart and what comes out, and I just had this idea of this sort of sound that I wanted. I wanted it to be very vocal orientated and very melodic, and it's quite acoustic and sort of a bit dreamy. And
yeah, it's very dreamy. It's kind of reflective, isn't it? Quite poignant.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I mean, that's why I chose the name Reverie for it as well, because it's got that kind of, daydreamy feel.
My favourite track, I've got to say, is the Beyond Pluto track, which I know was
really
co-written and co-produced by Mike Thorne. He used to work with Soft Cell.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love Mike Thorne. He's absolutely great. I was in New York, not last year, but the year before, and I stayed with Mike and his wife Layla. And Mike is just great. He's a lunatic, and we just had so much fun. And I went down into his studio in Greenwich Village, which is very cool. And he always used to tell me all the stories about Marianne Faithfull crashed out on the sofa.
Yeah,
it's really, really good. And so we kind of just messed about and came up with this track, Beyond Pluto. And actually, I think that's the one that Hi-Fi Sean is going to do a remix of as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I can hear him doing a rework of that as well, because I think he understands that style, and I think he understands the lyrics as well. It's very...
I think so, yeah, lyrically. It lends itself to a club remix, doesn't it?
It does.
Absolutely. We had an amazing time going to New York. Gosh, for us three, when we were in Swan's Way, there was myself, Rick and Rob. And, we were just these kids from Birmingham. We had UB40's manager at the time, but I think he was like paying us 50 quid a week or something. And we got to go over to New York to record with Mike Thorne, and we got picked up from the airport in a limo that had a drinks cabinet. Oh my God. And we stayed at the Chelsea Hotel. I mean, it was just like our dream come true completely. So we worked there and we recorded quite a bit of the Swan's Way album in, just trying to remember the name of the studio, Electric Ladyland. It was the original or maybe it was Electric Lady, but the original Jimi Hendrix studio.
Right, of course,
I met Nile Rodgers, I met Brian Ferry there.
How fantastic.
Oh my God, and the club life back then in the 80s was amazing. Grace Jones was hanging around. That's when she was with Dolph Lundgren. I remember being out in a nightclub. And this is when 42nd Street was just wild and crazy. And I used to love New York in the olden days. It was great.
You are the perfect person to ask for all the gossip on those stories, all those people that are around back then, obviously still going now. I mean, particularly Grace Jones, because she's still performing,
amazing.
Still at her age as well. I just think it's just superb.
She's
and
absolutely
really
incredible.
admirable as well that she's still doing it now as she should be.
Yeah.
Because so many people are so ageist with music as well now, aren't they?
I know.
I guess you get loads of trolls on social media.
It's just crazy, really. If you still want to do something, my advice would be just do it anyway. Just do it, you know.
And you've got the passion for it, so you should be doing it.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I just now I've got to the point in my life. I mean, what the hell? What else would I do? I'd go hiking.
I can see you doing
around the
that.
world.
I've seen your pictures on Facebook because you live in Eastbourne,
Yeah.
and you live in such a beautiful part of
It's
the world
gorgeous,
as well, and
absolutely
it's
gorgeous.
away from all the smog and the bright lights.
Yeah.
But you do
Yeah.
come back though.
Oh, I do like the
You
bright
miss
lights.
London.
You can't get me away from the bright lights.
Is there anything you miss from the 80s? Because it's one of the most vibrant decades. It's my favourite decade, or one of my favourite decades when it comes to music, because I think so much happened and so much was invigorating people. It was a really refreshing time, but it was really boundary pushing, and it obviously came from punk, and I just think it had that energy.
It was really interesting to see how everything evolved, and for me, living in Birmingham, you'd got such a diverse mix of bands, because you'd got like stuff coming from the punk days, you'd got all the ska stuff going on, you've got the new dance stuff, you've got the Romo stuff, and the funny thing, we all just used to hang out and hang out together, and of course Duran Duran, the Rum Runner, but you'd get Dexys down at the Rum Runner as well, and there were these other clubs, the Holy City Zoo and the Cedar Club, and all the bands that were sort of on the circuit would come and play. God, I saw the Eurythmics, I saw Blondie, Boomtown Rats, I mean Elvis Costello, the Police, a lot, everybody came to Birmingham. Do I miss anything about the 80s?
I guess it was an exciting time, but it still is now, but just different.
Yeah, do you know what? I did love the whole idea of there was this sort of concept club vibe, wasn't there? And I remember particularly in New York, the Limelight and the Area Club, and it was just so exciting. And of course, being so much younger as well, going out every night, often didn't even go out till midnight, and, stayed out very late.
Hellraiser.
Oh God, yes. Oh. It was just incredibly exciting, because I think we were just doing it for the first time, and I'd got a new band. Actually, the band before Swansway, we toured with Duran Duran.
Planet Earth era, wasn't it?
Oh my God, yeah. How old am I, Phil?
Your experience, you were there at a time when I would have loved to have been experiencing all of that. I was just a little bit younger.
Definitely, it was fun. But, I like my life now. I am a different person. I mean, there's part of me that is still very much, the old Maggie. But, we change, we evolve, and you can't fight it. And you just kind of have to go with it. And, wisdom does come with age. I mean, I'm not saying I don't make any mistakes. But, sometimes I try and advise my 16-year-old son. And I just realise, forget it, Mags. You've got to live a certain amount of time to kind of realise some things. And it doesn't get any easier. I mean, I still haven't discovered the meaning of life.
Yeah, I don't think anyone does today. I think you're always searching for it, but you never find out what it is.
I think as long as we're alive and kind of doing what we want to do. And
that's a good thing, though, isn't it?
Trying to be
I
kind
suppose
to people as
you've got to try and find it, but you never can, so it's more of a challenge.
It's one of those elusive things, isn't it? I suppose if I thought I'd found it, I'd probably just sit on the sofa and eat a bag of sweets. Life would kind
Woman
of
after my own heart.
I do sit on the sofa and eat a lot of bag of sweets. Anyway.
You've been on some great TV shows. I mean, talking of the 80s, all the way through the 80s, you were on Top of the Pops and the Old Grey Whistle Test, all these iconic TV shows like The Tube.
Goodness, yeah.
That must have been exciting. And also extras as well, which you appeared in with Mark Kermode, who's one of my heroes, the movie critic.
Right.
He was in it, I think. And
I don't remember that
one. Ian McKellen? Was that the episode?
Sir Ian McKellen. Because I played Charlie, the writer of a gay play.
Yeah.
And that was in the gay play episode with Sir Ian McKellen, and it was really funny.
What a brilliant show to be in, though. Yeah. He's genius, Ricky Gervais, isn't he?
Yeah, it was really funny, actually. It was quite a pleasure to do that.
Because not many people know. They know that, you've done this amazing music, but they don't know that you've been in TV shows and you've been acting.
I've done the odd thing.
Yeah.
I've done the odd thing.
How did that start?
Well, I was always, age 3, I just used to love dressing up at kindergarten. But
I did as well. I did drag at the age of 6 in Eastbourne, actually, funnily enough. I won a talent show in Eastbourne.
I failed miserably at a talent competition. I entered one when I was, I think, 9, and it was in Weston-super-Mare, singing Greensleeves and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh, wow.
I didn't do very well at all.
You should re-record those.
I'm thinking of it. I was in the Birmingham Youth Theatre in my teens. I did enjoy that. And I actually went to Kent Uni very briefly to study French and drama. But of course I met Rick, this sexy guitarist, who I decided I just would prefer to get a band together with him. Yeah. So we went back to Birmingham, and Birmingham was such a great scene. That's what we did. My crazy life and junk outside. There's something missing I can't find. I can't sleep at night, it's just too weird. My head's so full of all these fears. I'm taking the last train, moving on, you know I'm coming home. I'm taking the last train.
In the 90s, you ran a club as well.
I did.
El Dorado. It's
right.
not easy, is it? We were talking about this earlier.
It's not easy.
Because I remember you kindly came along to support my club night, Club I in Vauxhall in London, the alternative indie night. And it was hard. I think I ran it for 3-4 months. It's tough work.
It is tough work, actually. And I prefer a sort of wholesome life now, breathing in the sea air and looking at the sky and, growing sunflowers.
Sounds good. Sounds ideal to me.
I do like dancing in nightclubs as well. But it was quite tough. But I used to run Maggie's music night and every Wednesday, and I used to host it and sing, and would have different bands coming in and different acts, and they would bring in sort of their audience as well. So we used to have quite a fun night, and we had a few sort of cool parties there, like Chemical Brothers did a party, and I'm trying to think who else. Richard Norris, remember Richard from The Grid? He's doing some great stuff now, actually, is Richard. But you're right, it's tough, and it's some of it, there's some seedy people around. Don't mean to say, oh God, that sounds terrible.
Yes, club world, isn't it?
Yeah,
goes hand in hand with that, sadly.
Yeah, it does.
With the dark side.
Yeah, I know. I've had enough of the dark side.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like that, should it?
No. Let's move into the light. But I'm hoping I will actually be doing some gigs a bit later, either in the summer or the autumn.
That's great to hear, because that was going to be my next question.
And I think that the style of this album and the songs kind of lend themselves to playing live as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've got 2 guitar players. I've got a double bass player, and he does a nice bit of bowing sometimes, and also one of the guitar players does mandolin and dobro as well. So,
nice.
Yeah.
And that kind of fits really well with the album as well, because the album, it's kind of Celtic, isn't it, in feel?
Well, it's kind of got it's got a sort of soulful acoustic vibe, I think. You bit folky maybe.
Maybe feel a bit weepy in places, in a good way, not in a distraught way.
Sorry, Phil, I made him cry.
I kind of got a bit emotional.
Bless you. It was. I've actually been through quite a lot lately over the past couple of years, and I think for me as well, this was quite a cathartic album, and I think quite healing. And for Leif, my husband as well, who he produced it and played a lot of stuff on it and co-wrote a couple of songs with me. It was very helpful for him, also because he has kidney failure.
Right.
And he's on dialysis. So it's been a really good focus for both of us, so that we're not just thinking about his health condition. And, for him, he'd be sitting there at his mixing desk and everything, just going, oh, this is great, doing all this music. So for me, as I said, there's a couple of songs on there. In particular, I think Grace and You Will Get Through are particularly songs sort of, I suppose, to make me feel better, and maybe just generally to... I don't know, they're just kind of healing songs. It's my way of expressing, what I was going through.
Yeah.
But hopefully Leif will get a kidney before too long. He's on the waiting list, or maybe some kind person will want to donate a kidney. We'll have to see, really.
Fingers crossed for that. And you did a cover of Nature's Way as well, which I love, your version of The Spirit. Because I remember This Mortal Coil version, their cover version, but you did one as well. And
Who did a cover version?
This Mortal Coil.
Did they?
Back in the 90s.
I
think it was
know that.
Early 90s, late 80s.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I used to listen to it on a loop when I was at art college, yeah.
Oh, thanks for saying you like Nature's Way. Yeah, I love it, actually. And we've done it in a really different way to the original. Yeah, it's... I like that very much as well. That's one of my favourite songs on the album.
Yeah, Maggie, it's great seeing you today. I wish you all the best with the album. The album's Reverie.
Yes,
comes out on the 3rd of June.
Reverie. And it's on Dirtbag Baby Records. It's coming out on June the 3rd, and it's being distributed by Right Track via Universal, so you should be able to get it in all the usual places. And look out. And it's a Scarlet Fantastic album, 30 years on.
Yeah,
wow.
And it's brilliant to have you back.
Thank you,
because it was really good when you did the stuff with Martin Watkins as well.
Yeah,
Maggie and Martin.
Yeah, that album Union was a wonderful creative process for me. I absolutely loved it, really.
What a lovely guy he is as well.
Oh, he's a sweetheart, isn't he?
Mark Harmon's keyboard player. For people who don't know anything about Martin, you need to check out his music, because he's great.
He's got a very funny sense of humour.
Yeah. Dark sense of humour, like Warped.
Well, you know about that, do you, Phil?
It's always the best way to be, though, isn't it?
It was a joy to work with Martin, actually. In fact, a couple of the songs on the album are co-writes with Martin.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. You're bringing in everyone that's truly great, aren't you? You're working with the best.
Yeah. Anyone who'll work with me.
They're all screaming out now. It's good to see you, Maggie, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, cheers, Phil. Thanks.
Thank you.